Welcome back to V8 Creative and part 65 of the Ultima RS build, and on this episode I fit the final upgrade to make the RS perfect. Yes, welcome back to the Dean Den, and you did hear that right. This is the last upgrade I'm going to be doing to the beast, and then she will be perfect in my eyes. Is it going to be aero? Is it going to be carbon? Is it going to be... No, none of those things. The upgrade I want to fit is just to make the beast start on the button regardless of how long she has been sitting. Now, to date, I haven't had a single issue because every time I push that start button, she erupts into life. But winter's almost upon us. And if you're a supercar owner out there, you know when beasts like this sit for weeks or months on end, that one day when the sun is shining and you want to jump in and give it a good old thrash, you hear this. That is the sound of doom. And what we're talking about, yes, is maintaining your battery. Now, you may say, well, I'll just go on Amazon and buy a cheap trickle charger, but that is not what this RS requires. It requires the best in the market. So what I did is I went on the old interweb and I started looking for businesses who sold some pretty high-end kit, and I found one. It kept coming up in my searches at the top, and the company is called CTEK, and they've worked with me on this episode for me to install in this machine a state-of-the-art trickle charging and battery charging system. Now, my requirements were probably quite demanding, and they were as follows. One, I want to plug this thing into the mains and just leave it. I just want to be confident she is going to start on the button. I don't want to worry about overcharging, undercharging. I want that all taken care of. Secondly, I don't want to use crocodile clips. I just don't, it just doesn't suit this car. So what I want is an ability to put the charging system into the Ultima Loom so I can basically just plug her in and she will charge. And the next requirement was when I'm charging the battery on the RS, I want the front and rear clamshells locked down. Now, the reason for this is you don't really want to leave those panels up for extended periods of time because they're composite and they can move. And at the moment, my shut lines are absolutely perfect and I want to keep them that way. So I said that to CTEK and they said, yep, not a problem. So before I go any further, in the description below is a link to CTEK. So if you're interested in installing what I'm just about to do on this beast, give them, have a look at the website or give them a call and they'll be able to help you out. So let's go over to the Dean assembly bench and I'm going to run through the items I'm going to fit to the RS. Yes, we're back at the Dean assembly bench. It's been a while, I know, but in front of me are the CTEK goodies I received in the post. Now, first of all, we have the CS1. Now, this is CTEK's latest adaptive charging technology. And what I didn't mention in the intro is CTEK have been around for over 25 years, and they developed the world's first adaptive charging technology for batteries. So that same technology, developed a lot, sits in this beastie here. And what does it do? Well, when you connect it to the battery, what it does is it talks to the battery. It does a Vulcan mind mount on the battery. How cool is that?
My mind to your mind.
What it's doing is it's understanding the technology in the battery, whether it's lead acid or whether it's lithium. Once it's done that, then it tries to understand how discharged it is, what condition it's in. And from that, it understands how long it will take to charge. And even better, it then creates like a charging plan for the battery. How cool is that? And it charges the battery, and then it shows on the front a rotary display that tells you how many hours is left before she's ready to crank that engine. Next, we have, now I have to read this, comfort indicator panel. Comfort. Well, I guess it is comforting because this panel is recessed into the bodywork. It's connected to the battery permanently. And then what it's got is a connector which connects via an extension lead directly to the CS1. That means no crocodile clips. Yes, crocodile clip leads are provided with this, but I don't want to use those. Also on this panel is a traffic light system. It's got a red, orange and green. Red, you've got to charge it. She's pretty low, so you need to charge that battery. Orange, it really needs a charge, but you can go out with the car. It's going to start. It should be okay as long as you're doing a longer trip. And if it's green, yeah, we're all ready to go. I have decided to place this just above the battery, and there's two reasons for that. Firstly, it's a very dry area within the Ultima RS. And secondly, what it means is when I plug the extension lead into this, that clamshell can be closed. Wow, I'm happy. And then finally, we have the carry case. Of course, I'm one of these people that buy carry cases, but the reason for this is when I'm out and about and she's not being charged, I can put the extension lead and also the charger in this and then pop it in one of the luggage containers because it fits very snugly in the bottom. So there you go. That is all the kit to make this pretty much the optimum charging system for the RS. So all that's left to do is fit the comfort panel. Should we do it? Yeah. Let's go over and do some spannering.
So baby, stay with me.
Right, are you enjoying the spannering? Good. I know it's been a while, and this is going to be the last episode with any spannering in, so enjoy it. But I thought I'd put an interlude in and explain to you why cars like the Ultima RS, why do their batteries run down over time? Well, actually, all cars do. And the reason is, in a car electrical system, there is always a small drain. And why? Well, there are components on a car that need a constant power supply, usually because they have to remember. Well, on the RS, what items need to remember? Well, there is the Chevrolet Performance ECU. That's got a memory. And why it's got a memory is because it remembers how you are driving the car and it adapts accordingly. That's pretty cool, actually. So if you were to disconnect the battery and connect it back, it would go back to a factory default and it would have to learn again. So that's one. Two, the LED light system. Yes, that has got a memory as well because it is a microprocessor system and it needs to actually sync, it's mainly the indicators and hazards all around the car. So that's another bit of kit that takes that little bit of juice. Next, we have the immobilizer alarm, whatever you fit. I've got an immobilizer, and of course, it's got a blinking LED and also a small amount of circuitry that needs to be activated all the time, waiting for me to introduce the key to make sure it can be disabled. And then finally, the Raptor control unit. Yes, that always needs to be alive. And why? Because if I jump in the car and I need to put the hazards on, for example, but I don't want to put the ignition on, I press the button and then it all lights up. So on the RS, those are the circuits that just sip it like a cup of tea. Now over a week or so, or 2 weeks, not a problem. But if it's a month, 2 months, it will deplete that battery. Now on top of that, if you're the type of person that likes to take people out for joyrides, which I do, that's not good either, because what you're basically doing is giving the Ultima RS a blast for like 5 minutes and then bringing her back home. That is probably the best way to drain the battery because cranking the engine takes loads of amps, loads. And then really you're not giving the alternator enough time to charge the battery. So this little lot is going to solve all those problems. Let's get back to spannering. Right, so now we're ready to charge. Okay, I've opened the front clamshell, and as you can see, we have a red flashing light, which means charge now. Now, I've had to leave the lights on for a while to discharge the battery enough to get the red light flashing. But anyway, it's flashing now. So what we do is we remove the dust cap. Just let me stretch over and do that. Just like so. Then we get the extension lead and just pop it in like so. We plug the lead into the charger and then we switch the charger on at the mains. And you'll see the lights go through a sequence. And what this is doing is this is the mind melt that's happening between the charger and the battery to understand exactly the type of charging cycle required. Also, how long it needs to be charged before it's topped up to 100%. These blue LEDs that flash, that is Bluetooth. And what it's trying to do is pair with the app I have on my phone. So what I can do is when I wake up in the mornings and I look out the curtains and I can see the sun shining, I can just open my app to make sure the beast is ready to turn over. So I'm going to just leave it here now for a little while. And what you'll see, I'll speed it up, is the light segments which are labelled with greater than 8, 6, 4, 2 and 1. These are the hours it needs to become fully charged. So what will happen is once it's gone through its little phase of talking to the battery, it will light up the number of segments which indicates how long the charge needs to be. Now what you see here is I've left the clamshell open, which I'm saying you shouldn't do, but I'm just doing this for the first 15 minutes of mind meltingness that's going on. So what I'm going to do now is just move the charger onto the floor and then lower the clamshell and leave it for 4 hours to charge. All done. What a nice setup. So there we have it. Another episode draws to a close, and a huge thanks to CTEK for helping me make this video. And remember, in the description is a link to their website if you want to inquire about the solution I've installed or any of their charging systems. So that is the end of part 65, leaving part 66, and you'll want to see that one. Big news, and also a bit of this. And yep, and a bit of this. You happy? He likes looking at the Ultima. And of course, a bit of this. So until next time, keep smiling and enjoy your spanner.